The head of one of the world's top luxury houses tells me it's his moral obligation to stand up for gender equality. Kering is the owner of brands like Gucci and Balenciaga. Its brand is built on glamorous fashion shows like this. Now it's taking on issues which it has been taboo for too long. Kering is working with the French government to open shelters for women who are victims of violence and their children who suffer as a result. And alongside the Ford Foundation, which is pledging almost $500 million to fight gender inequality. I spoke to the leaders of both groups last week who joined me from Paris and asked why now was the time.
The core of it is an opportunity, historic opportunity, to bring together the private sector, government, and philanthropy, along with donors, to commit to, by 2030, achieving gender equity in the world. This has never been more important an issue than today, when around the world we continue to see gender inequality manifest in the most pernicious, profound, and harmful ways.
Francois-Henri, Darren may talk the policy, but for somebody like yourself as a CEO, you have to do the practicalities, which is make it happen. What are you going to do to make it happen?
Yeah, it's exactly our role as a private company. It's to really be on the field, on actions to help women victims of violence. We founded our corporate foundation to help women victims of violence 15 years ago. So we're working very closely on the field with a local association that are really tackle the issue in a very practical way. So, and we announced yesterday that we will help the French government to roll out, to build 15 houses dedicated to support victims of violence across France. It's a program that was launched last year by the government, and we will invest practically there. So it's centers for women where you have medical care, psychological care, legal care, to really help the victim of violence to get out of this cycle of violence. And never forget that behind women, there's always children, also victim of that plague.
One of the most distressing and disturbing parts of the pandemic is the toll that it has taken on women in the workforce who have been pushed out in the workforce, either because of looking after families or because those jobs have gone and they've suffered the first. It's put us back decades, some people say. How do we reverse that?
We reverse that by advocating for policies that pay women a decent wage first. So we must address the wage and income gap. We also must address the benefits of paid leave, the benefit of maternity and paternity leave, parental support for our aging parents. These are the things that women often are addressing. But Richard, I think the core issue here, that is the elephant in the room, is the fact that we have a system of patriarchy in many parts of the world that devalues women and girls. It is abhorrent to me that we live in a world where young girls as young as 10 or 12 years old are married off, are traded as chattel in exchange for some small amount of money because they just simply are not valued. That has to change, and this effort aims to change that.
Francois-Henri, the businesses you are in are very much, well, not very much, they are the luxury side. They sell the beauty, the glamour, the sparkle, if you like. We're talking about the opposite side of that coin, and I wonder how you internalize that yourself, how you square that circle between that which you sell and that which you're now putting so much effort in.
Well, it's true that when I started the foundation back in 2008, the fighting against violence on women was, first of all, a taboo in the most country in the world, and when I announced to my board and people around me that I wanted to really commit to that cause, it was a little bit difficult. I had to convince, but when you look at violence on women, it's every country, every social classes, it's everywhere. It's not just certain people, a certain category of the society, it's everyone. So you cannot, because you are in the luxury business, not tackle with those issues. It's a moral obligation for me and for the group to be involved in that and to fight violence against women. So even if it may not be compatible with the notion of luxury, no, yes, it's a responsibility that we have. It's like sustainability, fighting for the rights of women, fighting against violence on women. It's a moral obligation for all companies and of course for my company.